right, guys. So, welcome to. I was going to say, I was just reading Shambhala. Yeah. We can get a little closer. It's a little tight to bring over here, so I got to kind of keep it over here. Yeah, if you can move it over. Is there more slack? There may not be a lot of slack. Okay. How's that? A little better? Yes. Okay. So welcome to New York Buddha Dharma. And let's start with a little meditation. But before we do, I'd just like to hear from you guys what your experience with meditation is, just so I can have a sense of how to talk about it. So if you don't mind. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Cary Tamura. I've been meditating for a little around 15 years, and teaching somewhat regularly over the last 2 or 3 years. Primarily from the Shambhala school of meditation, and I've definitely sat with some other Tibetans and Zen folks, and I enjoy exploring other traditions as well. So, thanks.
My name is Randy.
Hi.
I have meditated a couple of times, and I have enjoyed my sessions here, so I'm here to meditate again.
Great. Thanks. Welcome again. Yeah.
No classical training.
Okay.
I'm Cliff. I've been meditating for 20 years.
Okay.
Different traditions.
Different traditions. Okay.
I'm Joe. Relative newcomer. I've been meditating about a year.
Okay. Okay. Great. Well, welcome all of you. And
Meditating a long time. In the spirit of meditation, time doesn't matter.
all right, great. Well, let's do this. So we're going to do a guided meditation for 20 or 30 minutes, and then well, I won't be talking the whole time. So one of the things too, and I think that's important, actually, you kind of bring up an interesting point implicitly about this kind of meditation that we do is, this is an all-inclusive meditation, right? This style of it's a Vipassana, a shamatha Vipassana hybrid, a mindfulness awareness hybrid, and the idea is not that we need to meditate, in a quiet space with nothing going on, just sitting with our thoughts, but really that we are able to meditate in any situation, really. There are certain situations you may not want to meditate if you're driving a car or flying a plane, but in any sort of environment, and whatever the stimuli are that we experience, whether it's the sound of an air conditioner, or a temperature, or a smell, or the sights, the shadows on the floor, or the sound of somebody talking to you. These are all part of the inclusion. They're all part of our awareness. And so that this meditation practice is really about opening and relaxing into the present, whatever that present is. So hopefully that your practice can incorporate that. And if you find yourself sitting and getting annoyed with something, you find yourself sitting in, like, if you've ever had that kind of experience where you're sitting down to meditate and your phone goes off and you're like, damn it, like my phone's ringing, I'm trying to meditate, it's really bothering me, then that of itself is an object of meditation. It's something to work with, right? There's no reason to get upset. There's no reason to stand up and turn off your phone. Really, what you want to do is actually sit and just allow the phone the sound to be what it is. Allow the sight, your sight and what you see to be what it is without commenting on it, without judging it or having a conversation in your head about it. So we'll get to that a little bit later, but let's start with posture. So just sitting up straight. Everybody's got a pretty good posture. If you're sitting in a chair, sometimes it's helpful to have a cushion that raises your hips above your knees. But you want your knees, one of the key parts, whether you're cross-legged or whether you're sitting in a chair, one of the key parts here is you want your knees to be slightly lower than your hips. And this is for a very practical reason. It allows you to sit comfortably with a straight back for a long time. If you don't have arms on your chair, you can let your arms drop down to your sides and then bring them up at the elbows and just lay them on your thighs. So we want our chins to be tucked ever so slightly, and our gaze is downward, about 45 degrees to the floor in front of you. And you can shift and check in, make sure your balance is good. And now from this posture, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our eyes closed, and we're going to check in with our body. And the first thing I would like to just do a general check-in. See if there's any obvious places of tension that you can find. And if so, just relax those. You might notice as well, while we're sitting here, is how's your mind? Do you have a lot of racing thoughts? Are you thinking at all about how you got here? Is there any impression left in your mind from your commute today or from other parts of your day? And if you notice any of that stuff, just try and relax it and let it go. And now I want to turn your attention more specifically to the top of your head. And we're going to work our way from the top of our head down to our feet. And we're going to notice each part of our body, and we're just going to relax it as we go. So starting with the crown of your head. This is not a part of the body that we place a lot of attention to regularly. Just see if there's any sense of relaxation or openness that you can find there. And move that down into your forehead and your eyebrows. We tend to furrow our brows and our forehead. See if there's any sense of relaxation or letting go you can find there. Moving down into the eyes, your eyelids. Are they closed tightly or gently? Just notice it. If there's any sense of relaxation or opening, just let it go. Moving down into the cheeks and the nose. Maybe notice the sense of the breath as it enters in through the nose. You don't need to change anything. You can just notice the sense of the breath and the feel of it as it enters in through your nose or through your mouth, for that matter, however you're breathing. There may be a coolness to the breath as it enters in and runs down your throat. And then moving down into the throat, see if there's any sense of constriction there. And if there is, just open it and let it go. Relax the throat. And checking in with the mouth and the tongue. Is your tongue cleaved to the roof of your mouth? If it is, just let it hang. Relax it. Are your teeth clenched? Is your jaw tight? If that is the case, then just relax that and let it go. Your lips can be together or open, whatever you prefer. But the idea here is to continue to move your way down your body noticing some places of tension and just letting them go, letting them relax. Down into the back of your neck and into your shoulders, your trapezius muscles, which connect your shoulders to your neck. This is a good place to check in with your posture. Can you move your shoulders back a little bit and let them hang down? There's almost a sense of settling into your seat and into the posture as you go. And while you're there, moving down into the chest, is there any sense of tightness or constriction? If there is, just try and relax that. And maybe notice the feeling of the breath in the chest. And again, you don't have to change the breath. You're just noticing the rise and the fall of the chest, of the diaphragm, down into the belly. I tend to hold a lot of tension in my belly and on my sides. And this is a great opportunity for us to notice that and let it go. Relax it. There's a softening of the torso while still staying balanced on the spine. And continuing down into the guts and the groin. See if there's any sense of holding on or tension there, and just relax it. Out into the hips, down into the thighs. If you're sitting cross-legged, you may notice a little bit of holding on in the thighs right now. Just let that relax. Maybe you notice the feeling of your hands as they rest on your thighs. And then out into your knees, down into the calves, shins, down into the ankles, the heels of your feet, the arches of your feet. If you're like me, you may have some aches and pains in your feet. This is a good time to kind of spread them out. You can wiggle your toes, just check in. Allow them to relax and open fully. And once you're done, you can check back in with your posture. Check back in with your body and see if there's any places that tension has crept back in. And if it has, just notice it and let it relax. Let it go. And now check back in with your mind too. As your body is relaxed, have you noticed any more relaxation with the mind? The mind and the body have a tendency to mirror one another when it comes to tension and anxiety and relaxation. You may find that your mind is now a little more relaxed, just like your body. And this is a good thing. Relaxation allows us to be more aware of what we're experiencing in the present. In this case, a sense of feel. But it works for all of our senses. And so turn your attention now to your hearing. And try and just be open and listen. You're not trying to identify each thing that you're hearing and describe it to yourself or label it. You're actually just trying to hear all of what you're hearing without having a conversation in your head about it. And when you notice that your mind starts to wander and you start having a conversation with yourself, talking, oh, well, this is what I'm hearing now, this is hard, or CT keeps talking, whatever that is, just let it go and bring your attention back to your hearing. And this is all inclusive. It includes everything that you can hear. Just try that for a couple minutes. And if you find your mind wandering away, that's okay. Just notice that it has wandered away from your hearing and let it go, whatever you're thinking about, and bring your attention back to your hearing. And this is the act of meditation over and over again, just noticing when you're distracted, when you've wandered, and bringing your attention back to the present. Now, as you're ready, you can gently open your eyes, keeping your gaze downward, about 45 degrees to the floor in front of you. And we're going to do the same thing that we were just doing with our hearing, with our sight. Try to see without describing to yourself what you're seeing. It's almost kind of like looking at a painting. Try to look at the whole painting. Don't focus in on the brush strokes. Don't have a conversation in your head about how it was painted. You're just taking in what your eyes are telling you. And when your mind wanders, just notice that and bring your attention back. Meditating at this time of evening can be tricky if we are not well rested. And if you find that that's the case, that you're fighting sleep, one of the good ways to work with that is to lift your gaze, looking straight ahead. It tends to wake us up physically. Now see if you can incorporate all of your senses, your hearing and your sight, the sense of your body, any awareness of smell or taste. And just try and be present with those senses. And every time your mind wanders, just notice it, let it go, and bring your attention back. Back to the space. If your mind's wandering, just notice it. Bring your attention back. Okay. And then you can relax your posture. And sort of maybe even bring your attention back to the other folks in the room. And maybe before we just talk a little bit about the Bodhisattva path, does anybody have any questions or want to share anything in their experience? Yeah. It is a little loud. Okay. Any? No questions or desire to share experiences is a totally acceptable answer. But I want to give you guys there are no dumb questions or bad experiences really. Okay. All right. 1 sec. Yeah, you can